are very, you think, not to the, okay, all right, please. Let me, please, can I have an usher? Please, I need an usher to watching this band. Okay, Joke, please, it's in your hands. And also, please, put your hands together and say, welcome to the stage, Miss Techy. The first day I saw her page, she came out from iPad and entered telephone. I said, my dear, come down now. Some of us, we are still learning how to edit picture. You're already editing yourself. She opened I can't remember the brand, one can. She opened the can. She, instead of gas to come out, his Adam came out. It's taking now. We're taking it easy. And another like Yenbe a second. Please put your hands together for another young man whom I thought would be very big and gigantic and Fisayo, stand up. I don't like pride. Stand up. Stand up. Please stand up. Please put your hands together for Fisayo. You have to be intelligent and willing to learn to a very great extent to understand some of the things that these people do. Just in case you don't know, you challenge my mental ability. Sometimes I'm wondering, how is this? Is it not the same number 6 that you're using that I am using? So we have just 15 minutes for this section. I'm going to be asking you basic questions. Hopefully we all can learn from these questions. And then please pay attention, guys. If you have any questions, we'll be taking a few after this session. So where do we start from? Why you late? But it's usually ladies first. So we'll start with Fisayo. So tell us. Yes, we are starting with you. Thank you, promise. No, don't get me wrong. So now tell us about your brand partnership on YouTube. How did you go about engaging, and what are the results? Also, because I mentioned before that tech is usually not a space for a lot of people right now, but it's interesting to see with the help of platforms like this how a lot of people are growing into it. So how have you been able to manage engagement, and what's the result like?
Okay, thank you very much for the question, and it's a huge honor to be here speaking with everyone. My name is Fisayo Fosudo. I make videos about smartphones, apps, accessories, just mobile technology videos, and I recently started making videos about finance. And from what I've seen, Google is the biggest search engine, YouTube second biggest search engine, Google owns YouTube, and when you make videos, most people when they have questions, they go on Google and they search for something. Chances are there will be a YouTube video recommendation, and the videos are usually optimized. Even now, you can see key moments in a video when you search on Google, and it just saves the person that is searching for something. It saves them a lot of time. So I've been doing YouTube for like about 5 years now, 5 years in November, and from what I know, brand partnerships with YouTube creators is always a huge value, both for the brand and for the audience, and also for the creator. They get money too, so yeah. But like the audience and the people that the brands are targeting, they get value when they're introduced to a product that can benefit them, and the brands get value from that audience that you have that has new eyeballs on their own product or service. So during the course of this panel session, we'll talk more.
Oh, fantastic. So let's go to the brand manager on the team. I would like to ask, what do you look for when considering engaging content creators and influencers? Influencers and content creators, please pay attention.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and great to be here. That's a very interesting question, and I'm going to be as practical and open as possible. One of the things we would consider from an organization standpoint will be our brand DNA. And when I say our brand DNA, it's because of the kind of industry where we work. So sometimes it's easy for an FMCG company to say some things and get away. But because of the kind of industry where we play in, there's some things we cannot say. So it's not that those things are bad in itself, it's just because the perception about us, and because it's also a global brand, so some things you might not be able to get away with it when you say that. So our brand DNA is always very important. The second thing will be the profile of the content creator or the influencer. Now, when we say the profile, it's because of brand safety also. We have to ensure that it's a good brand fit for us, meaning that whatever we want to achieve, the content creator or the influencer is able to help us achieve that. And then the third thing will be the objective of what we are trying to achieve. Because sometimes the objective might be you're trying to drive conversion, sometimes you might be trying to drive engagement. So whatever the objective is, we have to also consider that. And the other thing will be around, beyond the subscribers of the influencer or the content creator, we will look at how much you are able to drive engagement. Because it's not just about creating the content and just posting it on our page or the influencer's page and there is no conversation. So engagement is very important. So we'll look at your engagement rates. There are a lot of times where we've had to shortlist people who are all, when it comes to numbers in terms of subscribers, the numbers are all high up there. But at the end of the day, we ask ourselves, who is able to deliver on the objective? Who is able to drive the engagement? Who is able to drive conversations? And let me just give a real life example. There was a time where we had to launch a product in Ghana. And this product was more of, it's a new product, and it was something that had to do with explaining to people how to use that product. So we had to look for somebody that can explain to people how to do something. But it wasn't just about you explaining, it should have been something you were doing before. Not that because we as a brand, we wanted to do it, you were trying to force fit your personality or your style to do that. So that was very important. So we were eventually able to get a lady who is also one of the top content creators in Ghana, and I think we had about 3 videos, and the person was able to deliver the objective, the person was able to drive engagement, and at the same time the person was also able to explain to people how to use the product. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please, let's put our hands to the flag. That was very honest and very straightforward, and I definitely can connect to that. So, Ms. Techy, considering the number of magic that you perform, how you balance authenticity with sponsored content?
Okay, so that's a good question, and thank you for answering. So one of the ways that I try to make sure that my videos are authentic is by applying my own style of creativity to them, right? So people know me to be extremely creative when it comes to videos, right? And I could easily just sit down and talk about a brand, right, without doing my creativity just because I want it to be easy. But I've noticed that when I do that, right, engagement is very low because people have come to accept me for that style of video, right? So to be authentic with my with sponsored content, I have to make sure that I deliver on my creativity, even more than even my own videos. I don't know if it makes sense. So for my own videos, I can't even get away with it because I'm like, oh, it's my video, right? But for branded videos, I tend to do the most, in quotes, because I want to make sure that people see the creative side of things and they even get more creativity out of the videos that they were expecting to see. So I don't know if I answered that question.
Yeah, I mean, that works. Thank you very much. So Fisayo, I know that you've worked with a lot of brands. Tell us the ones that you're very proud of and why.
I've worked with like 17 posts now, and I think all of them, to be honest.
No, you can't. No. This is not a political gathering. This is not a political gathering. I mean, content creators and influencers, you've worked on some project and you're like, nah, this is badass. I am amazing. So tell us, because we want to learn from you. Tell us the collaborations you've had with brands and what that did for you.
Okay. Wow. Let me start. Maybe the very first one. The one that when I first started out on YouTube, I was already making the videos that I wanted to get seen. I was able to invest in my channel and just start making videos about tech. And a prominent smartphone company just reached out to me via DM, and they were like, oh, I love your videos, and your videos are very nice. And he sent me a phone. I made the video. I wasn't paid for it. It was free. And then I did another one for free, and yeah, I think it was a very nice relationship. And then later on, we went on to work with many campaigns, and then they took us out to like Dubai and stuff. So yeah, we grew together.
Okay, so because when I'm in the middle of a conversation, I like to follow through and be sure that I have all the information intact. So basically, I will first of all do the first one free. I'll now do the second one free. Then they'll now fly me abroad.
I was just starting out.
No, I'm not, because you went abroad. Didn't you? Or couldn't you?
I was just starting out.
You're just starting out. Please, we'll have another program with Fisayo after this program. Because that's that I don't want to say, you come and tell me. So my next...
I also want to add to the question you asked Ms. Techy and what she said as well. I think if brands want to work with creators, I think it's very good that the creators should already be in the niche. It should be doing the thing that they're doing already. I think it should be very smooth for the brand to collaborate with the creator if they are already doing that thing. And it won't seem fake. Like, they can easily understand the product or service, and then they talk about it, and everything just feels very nice.
Amazing. So my next question is for Seun. We know that you've had a few partnerships with YouTube, and I would like to ask that, what do you see as the future of brand partnerships going forward?
Okay, so in terms of future brand partnerships, I see opportunity to attract newer audiences, because yes, to a large extent there's a particular audience we are all targeting now, but I think working with YouTube, there is opportunity to be able to build on that. There is also the opportunity to be able to retain existing audiences that you have based on the different things that YouTube offers. And then the other thing would be the opportunity to promote a cause, because sometimes it's not just about being transactional, selling a particular product or a service. There are times where you actually want to add value to people beyond the everyday call to action or conversion. So an example, when we launched the Where Your Shop Matters campaign, it was an initiative targeted at SMEs to help them drive their business online. So it wasn't about us telling people to either pay with Visa or use Visa and all of that. It was more providing that support. So I see a lot of opportunity in that space where content creators working with YouTube, you're able to drive. I'm not saying this because I'm here, but it's been really, really amazing.
So nobody could say, oh.
So I'm going to give examples, 2 examples, one in my present role and one in my previous role. So I remember in my present role at Visa, in 2020, during the pandemic, one of the things we noticed from a Visa standpoint is that YouTube numbers, and we can all agree with me, was really rising. A lot of people were consuming YouTube content and all of that. And for us, probably was because a lot of people, there are more people at home now, working from home, so they had much more time to consume content. And also a lot of people were looking for DIY content, so a lot of people were going on YouTube and all of that. So that utterly helped with the numbers. Now, on our home part, we also realized that there's a particular audience, SMEs, that we're trying to target, who were also going on YouTube to kind of understand how to manage their business, because it was in the middle of the lockdown. At that point in time, nobody ever knew anything could happen like that to SMEs, where a lot of them were doing face-to-face transactions. Now they have to keep their business online, so a lot of them were going online. We as Visa also, we had an initiative, which was what I had mentioned earlier, the Where Your Shop Matters initiative, where we wanted to help SMEs to come online. So it was just a good fit for us because on YouTube, we already have that audience who were searching for content on how to drive their business online. We had something to support them, so it was just a perfect match for us. And when we came up with that idea, I remember in 2019, December, I attended the CMO session with Google YouTube team, and at that session they were talking about how to leverage YouTube to drive your business. They spoke about the kind of content you should create, what you should be looking out for when you're creating content and all of that. And funny enough, 4 months down the line, that content became very useful and relevant, because when we were creating the content for Where Your Shop Matters, the insight that I had gained from that session, I was able to practicalize that insight in creating relevant content targeting SMEs. While we are running the campaign also, the Google team was very fantastic, because they kept helping in terms of planning. That's even before we started running the campaign. Planning session, we had planning sessions with them. While we were running, they were providing insight for us to optimize the campaign. So at the end of the day, with a content of about 45 seconds, 60 seconds, we're actually averaging about 50% reach rate and all of that. So the results were really there for us to show. So I just want to say well done to Google. Continue to have the CMO thought leadership sessions. I think it really worked. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So now this last, thank you for putting your hands together. That's amazing. last question for everybody now. So from the angle of, let's still go with Seun first. From the angle of a brand manager, please tell us, what do you advise creators seeking to make impactful content partnerships?
That's a very interesting question, and I'm going to be very open again and honest about it.
The openness for me.
From a brand owner, the first one will be for me to build strong business relationships. Build strong business relationships with a brand. And when I say strong business relationships, what I mean is that position yourself as a business partner. Position yourself as somebody that is truly trying to solve a problem for the brand. It's not about the budget. It's not about, okay, you pay me this million to create this content and then you move on. If you're able to position yourself as a strong business partner, you're able to get more business opportunities. And I excited about Google. If I had a good experience with the Google team, I'm not going to be here today, to speaking at this session. The second thing for me will be about be approachable. It's very important. It has to, when I have conversations with my fellow marketeers and we're talking about influencers, one of the key things that comes out is the ease of working with content creators. Sometimes it might be difficult. It is difficult working with some content creators, and it's real. It's a pain that we go through. Sometimes you engage a content creator and you're trying to get across to that person, and it's so difficult. So the ease of working with the content creator is if it's for us, it's very important, and I will advise you as much as possible to be approachable. Yes, sometimes you might think it's difficult with some brands. Maybe you do a content for them and they say, oh, there's this revision and that revision. I think you just have to learn to do the balancing act where you're able to understand what the brief is. And that thing I would say that at the briefing session, as much as possible, try to be there. Sometimes I see some content creators where you send your managers into briefing session. There is a difference between when somebody is telling you about something and where you are there to hear it yourself. Because there are some unspoken things that you would not hear, but you would not know about, or you will not hear except if you're in that meeting. So as much as possible, be approachable, build stronger business relationships, and then understand the pain points of the client. What are they actually trying to solve, or what's the real problem? And how do I create relevant problems to drive that? At the end of this, it's about you offering value. If you're able to offer value, they will refer you to other people, they will call you for more jobs. So that will be my feedback.
Okay, thank you very much. So all of you that you have TV manager, 4 PA, 4 booking manager, you can enter your accounts like this padlock, you say she go and unlock it. It's not good for business. Miss Techy, your turn.
Sorry.
Yeah, same question. So the question is, what do you advise content creators? How do you advise them to make impactful collaborations with brands?
So I think what Seun said is very valid with regards to having a good relationship, a good business relationship, because even myself I've fallen short over time, right?
It is the honesty for me. Please put your hands together for her.
Yeah, so when I'm taking on, because in my head I think, oh, I can handle it because I have a duration, I have a time frame for that I give brands. So if a particular video is supposed to be ready in a particular date, they already know. But over time I've come to realize that it extends, maybe because of unforeseen situations. So in that regard, I feel that it's always nice as creators, especially, to always have like a clear communication, right? So if you cannot do it yourself, because I know that I've had issues with that, get somebody that would always be on. Treat brands like a proper business, right? Because at the end of the day, it could go on the other way. Like someone can sue you. Right. I saw also a story about that online last week or thereabout. So I think that is a valid point that she raised. But from my own personal experience with working with brands, I'd say that don't look at the money, even though it might be very important, right? Look at offering value, because that's what will make them come back for more, right? Because they feel that, oh, you've done the most, right? So aside from making videos, right, aside from posting the video on the timeline, you could do. So for personally, aside from posting the video on my timeline, I try to post it on my stories just to make sure that my followers can see that, right? Even after, and this is not paid, like they're not paying me to post on my stories, but it's extra value, because I realized that once you offer value, they come back for more and they use you again, right? So that's also key. Funny thing is, when it comes to brands in Nigeria, most of them don't deal with numbers, right? And this is even based off from Fisayo's story. You know, Fisayo said somebody reached out to him when it was just starting. I'm sure he didn't have a lot of subscribers then. So it's not even about the numbers. So if you can try to make sure that you position yourself as a creator, you offer value to your audience and to the brands themselves, everything would just be perfect, and you have a very smooth communication with both yourself and the brand, everything will go on smoothly.
Okay, fantastic. Just to clarify, when she said the brand will come back to use you, she did not mean that they will use you. She meant that they will consult, they ask for your services. Do you understand? Because some people think that they want to really use you. The Africans, before they will not know that what we are really doing. So after Fisayo's answer, we'll be taking questions, so please be ready. So Fisayo, it's the same question, but I'm going to be tweaking it a little bit. From the angle of an influencer and content creator for brands, what will you advise brands to do if they are seeking impactful collaborations with us? Talk for us, dear. What should they do? Thank you.
They should pay well.
Give a round of applause, please.
I'm just like for assembling. Nah, this is just a joke.
Me, I'm not kidding.
Okay, I think that they should, just like I said earlier, they should know, they shouldn't just reach the influencer because of maybe followers or something. They should, sometimes I've turned down work because I'm making tech and finance videos. I can't promote something about like a cream or something about hair.
You say it's going to be selling rice or beans,
grooming stuff. So I can't do some things. So I think they should try to understand that, and it should just be in the same niche. Make sure that the person that you're approaching is already doing something that is, in the same type of content, that gels with the values that your brand is offering, something like that. I don't know. They've said so much. They said so many interesting things and amazing things. I mean, you cannot discount the fact that you should also deliver value as a content creator, because the kind of content you're making, you want to know how you are answering questions, and for the brands as well, you want to help them meet their goals as much as possible. Understand all of the things that they require, the brief. Read the brief very well, understand the goals that they want to achieve with the campaign, working with you. I think I didn't answer your question. I actually just thought
you have done your best.
Your
best is enough for us. Ladies and gentlemen, please can we put our hands together for a panel? Thank you so much for answering our questions. Thank you so much for the information, the enlightenment. We are grateful for it. So now it's time to take just 3 questions. If you have questions, please let me see your hands up in the air. If you have questions. Okay, there's a lady behind there. Okay, we're scratching your hair. Sorry, mistake. Okay, is it okay? Is that okay? He has a question. Thank you. I don't think that mic is working.
Can you hear me? Yes, thank you very much. My name is Chris. So I have a couple of questions. First is for YouTube. I saw the videos you guys put out, and then there are no local case studies. I don't understand. And you show us videos for foreigners, we're Nigerians. Show us local case studies so that we can sort of relate to what exactly you're saying. Because I'm seeing videos, I don't know if they are South Africans or UK, I don't understand. It doesn't relate to me, so show me something local. Then for sales, I want to ask these questions to the influencers. So how do you reconcile sales? Because at the end of the day, awareness doesn't cut it anymore, you understand? We need to start talking about sales. So how do you sort of reconcile whatever you're doing and trying to, okay, let me dive this into Fisayo, sorry. I'm a huge fan, sorry. So when you do your campaigns, you sort of, you have the case study to show me to say, okay, out of this campaign, I made social sales for this brand, and then that sort of inform me to say, okay, I can put in a plan and say, okay, you can deliver on this objective. Because at the end of the day, we all know, I mean, as brands, awareness doesn't cut anymore. We want sales at the end of the day. And for instance, for Visa as well, we know that sales is very key. You understand? So, any clarity on that? Thank you.
Okay. I can't answer the YouTube question, but for the question that you asked, for campaigns that I've worked on, especially if it is digital products, is easier to track because I know how many people have downloaded an app because I said so. Sometimes, like I know that maybe 1,000 people have downloaded the app. I've done campaigns where 1,000 people downloaded, some 2,000 people have downloaded the app because of the video that I made. So I can easily track those ones. And I think the onus would also fall on brands as well if they can have like some sort of referral channel if they are selling online. For offline sales, you can't really measure it. It's like a billboard ad. You can't really measure something like that. You know, you only know how many people have clicked through to buy something, or you know how many people have watched or stuff like that. But I know for a fact that digital products or apps or stuff that has an online tag is very easy to measure if there is a good referral system or a good referral network. But for offline, it's nearly impossible to really get, unless maybe people call your name at the point of sale, which is, I don't know if everybody will remember.
Okay, thank you very much. Do we have another question? Jacob, please, we have the gentleman in black, I think. Yes, thank you.
Hi everyone, good evening. My name is David Williams. I work with Nucleus Marketing Services. I think this question basically relates to everybody, both brands and influencers, content creators. For the past few years, influencer marketing, we've seen a lot of rise, right? And in fact, it's been one of the major trends, right? And just like every other thing in life, it gets to a peak period, and then we see a dip, right? So 2 questions for all content creators here. What do you actually do to make sure you keep up with the trends and make sure you're relevant, right? 2, what do you think is going to be the future of influencer marketing in the next 10 years? Yeah. Anybody can answer. Thank you.
Ms. Techy?
Okay, so for what I do to keep up with trends, jump on any platform that comes up, right, and try to stay relevant with that platform. So, case in point, if there's a new social media, or if, for example, YouTube, right, YouTube Shorts came up and it was really exciting, right? And if you notice, then YouTube started promoting Shorts a lot more than even their, so with that, as a content creator, it's best to just jump on that, right? So, because if you jump on that at that time, you remain relevant because the algorithm pushes you more to more people, and more people see you, they follow you, and yeah, you stay relevant. So, I think staying up to date with anything that YouTube sends across, right? So, if it's with new product, make sure you jump on it almost immediately because latecomers never benefit from it. So yeah, I think that's one of the ways that I feel content creators should stay relevant, right? Keeping up with social products.
Well, if I can also add to that, I am also of the opinion that collaborations are very important. Now, if you look at the people that are popping, for lack of a better word, right now, there were people who were popping 2 years ago, there were people who were popping 5 years ago, and there are people who's been popping for the last 5 or 10 years. And what you see is meaningful collaboration. So, at different spaces, when there's a new somebody on the block, instead of creating a fence and feeling like, oh, what are you feeling like? You're just starting up, me, I have experience. I think it's very important that we look at things from the angle of, oh, how can I collaborate with this person? And another thing about collaborations that I think people do not really understand is you also get to learn. Because, the field is like school. I was just hearing from a friend today that some federal universities now take 180 as a cutoff mark for JAM. Meanwhile, when I was in the JAM space of my life, I think it was 230 or 250. So, because they are coming up, they have new spec, they have new structure, they have a lot of things that you can also jump on. Because sometimes you find people jump on trends, but they're not necessarily keen into the trend. Or you watch the video and you're kind of cringe, you're like, you didn't get it now. Didn't you watch it very well? So I also believe that we should be more open-minded. And that's why I love to call it meaningful collaborations. Ask yourself, why am I collaborating with this person? What do I stand to gain from collaborating with this person? Because if care is not taken, sometimes collaborations can also harm you. So it can give you a brand perspective that doesn't necessarily resonate with what you're trying to build for your brand at the time. With these few points of mine, I hope I'm able to convince you, not to confuse you. Go forth to collaborate meaningfully. Last question, please.
Sorry, Kiki.
Yes.
I just wanted to answer the question of the young man.
Yes.
Hello. What's your name? Chris, thank you very much for the question. So as regards the video that we showed, it's all for education. A lot of us here, we're not used to having that feedback of you create this thing for someone. Most people probably just send like a screenshot of engagement. But do you actually build a story around this is what I was able to do? But those people were able to do it. And for a lot of us that arrived early here, that's part of the things that we had Kiki announce. That after 3 months, we want to be able to do this and be able to get videos that we can show that from this room, you met this agency, you met this brand, and you created this, and this was it. So we can show you too in other parts of the world. That's exactly why we're doing this thing. And I hope that you see the value in it, and you see that we're not using it to look down on us. We're using it to tell a story of what can be done and what other brands can begin to see. Yeah? Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thank you so much, for letting everybody in this room know that you were the one that told me to tell them the secrets, because they thought that I told them a secret. No problem. Please, last question, please. I'm changing my mind. Okay, the gentleman in the back. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Kelechi. I'm from Techy. So my question is to the three panelists. I mean, obviously engagement is important and audience numbers are important. So I'm just very curious from all of you, what trends are you seeing in terms of your audience demographics, in terms of age, in terms of sex, and so on and so forth? So what trends are you seeing? What does that tell you about the kind of content you are interested in now and the kind of content you see yourself being interested in, say, in the next 2 years? Thanks.
So I think that's a very nice question, because it's actually one of those things that keep every brand marketeers awake at night. So from our own end, one of the things we are seeing will be more around the Gen Zs. They are having more disposable income, even though there is inflation, but they're having more disposable income, meaning that they can spend more. And we are actively trying to understand their lifestyle and the things that drive them. One of the things we've also realized is that things around music, gaming, fashion are the things that they are very interested in. So what we are looking at is to see how we can partner offline and bring it online, not to further build engagement with them. So probably will be around sponsoring, having some local sponsorships, offline content, bringing in online into it and using that to engage them. So even if you are not able to attend the event live in person, we can still leverage, put our content on YouTube, and you are still able to connect with us. So it's more around their passion points, things that they are interested in, and having more disposable income to spend. Obviously that's going to be important to us because we deal with payment rights. Thank you.
Are we good? Anybody wants to say it?
So to answer your question about like the age, just that specific portion, when I started making videos, I started making videos about tech only. And when I added like the finance category, I noticed two things. I noticed there were more older people and there were more women interested in the content. But for tech, I know that I have more male, like more men watching those type of videos and younger people. So I just noticed a bit of a flip in the audience categories. But yeah, just like she said, I think it's just a thing that's happening with the world now, that younger people are more interested in finances, interested in how they can, you know, be more independent or just be better in the workplace. I don't know what the future holds, but we would just, as content creators or as people who are interested in, you know, building a product or a brand, we definitely have to study the industry and the growth and adapt to it.
All right, thank you so much. Please, can we put our hands together for our panelists? That was so power-packed. Thank you so much. Miss Techy, thank you so much, Fisayo. Thank you so much, Seun, for giving us a lot of wisdom. Please put your hands together for them.